So I wanted to highlight a few things. When you have your data in here, we need to make a table first. It might be easier to go to Insert and then go to Table. We'll hit OK because my table does have a header, which is the data. So click OK, and it'll bring up this kind of form. So now when we click anywhere in that column, I can go to Insert, Pivot Table, and then I'm going to do it on the same spreadsheet, same sheet here. I'm going to click on a cell and put it in there. So now I'm going to select the data. I'm going to put it into the value. Well, it already is in the values. I'm also going to put it in the rows. And I don't want the sum of the data. I want the count. So we'll go to Value Field Settings. We're saying change this to count. And it was recommended that you make it by 10,000. You can do whatever you want with it. So I'm going to click on over here. I'm going to click on a cell, just like a cell. No, I don't want the whole row here. I just want a cell. And then I'm going to right click. And then I want to go to Group. So right click on it in a cell there. Click left and click first. And when you have a cell, right click on it. Go to Group. And then we go to the bin. So I want to start a little bit below my smallest number because I don't like to see a graph start at 28,330. So I'm going to change the 28,000. I'm going to change it to 25,000. Like, why not? And then after 96,000, the next group, I'm going to do this by 5,000. Will be 100,000. And then I'll change the grouping by 5. And that tells me, hey, I got one value that's between 25,000 and 29,999. I got 19 values that are in between this and so forth. And again, if you don't like that group, probably want to do 5,000 or 10,000, something of that nature. But if you wanted to, kind of be interesting, we could always change it by, eighths, whatever you want, or 7,500. And so you just got different options there to play with. So when you make yours, you want to show the actual equations in here. The person who made this spreadsheet did not. So for example, average or mean, we're looking at arithmetic mean. So equals average, and we probably just click the whole cell there since there's nothing below it. And there it, or the professor rounded it to send it to the nearest whole number. Fine. But on the standard deviation, something I want to point out to you is that it's not the sample for this. We have all the data, so we want to use P on this. So then when you do the P, it's going to give you 34852.88, and it was rounded to the nearest whole number. If you were to change this to sample, and the samples means you have part of it, you can tell that, hey, it is different. So be careful with that. And lastly, I just wanted to show us how to calculate the z-score. So we can start with the equal sign, and then we'll put the parentheses. The x is the piece of data that we're looking at. So for the 10th percentile, I'm just going to click on this cell. And with the minus, I'm going to find the average, which is up here. You can manually type it in, but I like to click on the cell. And then I'll close the parentheses, and I'm going to divide it by the standard deviation, which is right here. And I'll push enter. And you can see you got the same thing. It just rounded to the nearest hundredth at that point. So if you have any kind of questions, go ahead and email me.